Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win, or you find a way to lose. Sebastian Fundora, also known as Cockroach Man, pulls off the shocking win. Now, I'm going to tell you this right now. Sorry, I had to move the microphone. Tim Tszyu, I'm going to do a whole video about Tim Tszyu, man. He wasn't robbed, okay? But he was robbed. You know, Cockroach Man came in there, and in that first round, I was like, oh, this is about to come to an end. Tim Tszyu was putting the Aussie beans on him. Cockroach Man didn't know what was going on. Man, excuse me. And then Tim Tszyu, he breaks Sebastian Fundora's nose. Messed him up, man. And just right at the end of the round, Fundora being so damn tall, it looked to me like he inadvertently elbowed Tszyu on the top of the head. And then the blood just started, hemorrhaging. And I was like, God damn, that's venous bleeding, you know what I mean? That's not like capillaries. Was it capillaries bleeding? Could be saying that wrong. But I know there's 3 different types of bleeding, which is like, capillary, then from the vein, then from an artery. That shit was more between vein and artery type bleeding. But anyway, Tszyu just wasn't the same. And I'm going to tell you, it's not that Cockroach Man was doing anything special. We know he had a 9.5, 10-inch reach advantage, and he was trying to put all 10 inches all up in Tszyu's mouth. But I'm going to tell you, man, congrats to Sebastian Fundora. It is what it is, but I just don't think Fundora, and he can fight, but now that he's out here fighting these elite guys, I don't think the stars are going to line up like that for him again against an opponent where he just happens to injure him. Now, don't get me wrong, Fundora was injured too, but it just made Tszyu's issue seem worse to me, man. I mean, that blood was just, and his corner did a horrible job, but nonetheless, this ain't about Tszyu. What's next for Cockroach Man? Sebastian Fundora gets himself a huge win. He's a unified champion. You can't take that away from him, right? But to me, Sebastian Fundora, his win reminds me of Charles Martin, when Charles Martin fought, I can't remember the guy's name, but the guy had like a freak accident in the fight, and Charles Martin was awarded the damn title. Then he goes and he sells it to Anthony Joshua for like $8-9 million, and then Joshua tranquilizes him. It's kind of like the thing with Fundora. To me, it's almost like the opponent got injured, and he just happened to end up with the titles. If Tim Tszyu didn't get that cut over his head, I think Tim Tszyu would have won the fight. But anyway, what's next for Fundora? This is what's next for him. This man, he has the opportunity to fight Terrence Crawford or Earl Spence. Matter of fact, Terrence Crawford and Earl Spence out there on Twitter are arguing over who's going to get a shot at Fundora first. It's funny to watch them. It's like both of them have their tongues hanging out their mouth, wrapped around their head, dragging across their scalp, because they know that Fundora is an easy fight. Now, I'm not going to say they're guaranteed to win, but what I'm saying is it's probably an easier fight than most of these other guys. But I don't know. Fundora may shock us. I'm just not sure how far Fundora can go. As tall as he is, he's still out there getting hit with straight right hands. Tim Tszyu, man, and it was like in some of those rounds, it was like death by 1,000 right hands. And I just think if Fundora gets in there with somebody who knows how to throw that shot to the body to come up top with the left hook, or has more clever combinations, I think Fundora can be in trouble. Nothing much has changed since he got knocked out by, who knocked him out, Mendoza? I didn't see much of a change. Even when he was throwing his jab, it was more like he was fly fishing with that shit. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't throwing a piston-like jab. He was just fly fishing with it. He ain't gonna do no damage with a fly fishing type jab. You know what I'm saying? But nonetheless, this man is unified. He has all the control. I bet you this. I bet you he won't give Tim Tszyu a rematch. You want to bet some money? And to think, right? Everybody was sitting here saying, "Oh, Hood Champion, you don't know what you're talking about. Tim Tszyu and Earl Spence and all these talks." Well, look now. Earl Spence walked up in that ring. Terrence Crawford didn't walk in that ring. You know why? Because this shit was all planned. This shit is crazy. But anyway, Cockroach Man gets a win. It wasn't a robbery. He did throw more punches, landed more power shots. But it was a robbery in the sense that Tim Tszyu just got that cut, and it was just a bad one. It just makes me wonder why his corner didn't protest a little more about, hey, goddamn, our guy can't see, and just roll the dice on the judges' scorecards. But anyway, I don't want to hate on Fundora, but I guess a win is a win. I wouldn't want to win the titles like that. It would have been nice if he dropped Tszyu, you know what I'm saying? But I don't know. Anyway, Cockroach Man lives to fight another day and probably get a huge payday because he has 2 titles, and he's probably going to be fighting Earl Spence, not Terrence Crawford. And what he may end up doing, we got to see what the WBO does now. Because he may have to drop that WBO belt if he wants Earl Spence. But if he wants to keep both of those belts, he may have to fight Terrence Crawford. So let's see how this plays out. Y'all keep cool. I'm in the breeze.